Johnny, you've been away and now you're back in Rhode Island, hanging out, having a little bit of fun. How's it going?
What up? It's so good to be back. I'm home, so it's like the best feeling ever.
You're home.
Yeah.
So you most recently just had this awesome kind of residency at this super nice, fancy hotel cafe. Tell us a little bit about that. It was a pretty good experience, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. I just wrapped up my first ever residency at the Hotel Cafe, which it's this really cool like singer-songwriter spot right in Hollywood. Tough place to even like get in and play. Like I used to email them all the time just to like beg
Like,
to play.
hey.
And then finally I was playing like the side room, which it holds like 20 people, 30 people. So I was super lucky that they hit me up about doing a residency there, like on the main stage. So for the past 3 Friday nights in a row, I played at 8 o'clock, and I had special guests from The Voice come up and play. Lily came up and played.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, so
gorgeous, talented.
She's like beautiful, and she's one of my like really good friends now. And Davina came up and played, and my boy Julian. So we basically, it was a really cool like Voice hang, and a lot of Voice fans came out. So it was cool. It was a good way to kick off my my post Voice life.
Your post-Voice life. Now, we were just talking about this a little bit back there. That's why it took me a minute to run out here, Ava. Sorry about that. Talk to me just a little bit about The Voice, because you've had this pretty successful career, music-wise, with the Runaway Saints and performing before kicking off Rod Stewart shows. You were in Nashville, moved out to LA, and talk to me just, we've talked about this before, but how The Voice has kind of just opened up doors for you that it just kind of has taken you to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy for us because going into The Voice, yeah, I mean, I did have like, we had a record deal, you know, and we were on tour with like some big bands, but we literally just live in a different world when it comes to music, and like with social media, it has kind of changed everything, you know? So it's like when you talk to someone for the first time, they even almost ask a question where it's like, well, how many followers do you have? You know? And it was like, we started playing music
That's depressing.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and we started playing music before MySpace even started, you know? So we're kind of like old school when it comes to that. So to be able to go on a show like The Voice and just be exposed and have to so many people and have this platform to be able to kind of put yourself out there. And when you walk away, no matter like where you end up on the show, you walk away with a ton of fans and followers, and it's cool because you can take that and put your own music out, you know? And you already have people waiting. So like even with those shows, there were a bunch of Voice fans there, which was cool because I've always been an opener into headline shows, and to have people there waiting in line and stuff was cool. And now to do a show in Providence as a headliner, you know, and not just an opener, like is a really cool thing for me.
That's so much fun. And so you are back home. You're from West Warwick originally, so you're Rhode Islander at heart. We love the fact that you were preaching that on the show. We love that fact. So you're back home for kind of an East Coast tour. So tell us a little bit about that. And you have some special guests, some friends from Rhode Island as well playing with you.
Oh yeah, totally. So I knew that as soon as the show was over, like we started to talk about doing shows, and I knew I wanted to come home, but I wanted to make it kind of special. So I'm teaming up with Troy Ramey, who was on my team. Also, he went to school in Rhode Island. He went to Rogers in Newport. So yeah, we are doing, it starts Friday night in New York City, and then Saturday night in Pawtucket at the Met, 8 o'clock. Sunday we're doing Long Island, where Troy lives now, and then we are also going to Boston next Thursday. So a cool string of Northeast shows, and my band, Runaway Saints, are going to be my band, which is going to be awesome because we haven't played together on the same stage like since way before the show. And we can't wait. Like we said, we have some like really cool stuff planned, and it's cool that we get to do shows with Troy. I mean, he really became one of my like best friends on the show. Yeah.
That's cool. Were you guys able to, because you've talked to us a lot about just making these connections with people that you're with on the show, and it's kind of this weird, you know, you're competing against each other, but you really create a family.
Yeah.
Was it kind of fun to work with him and to chat with him, just like having that connection about being back home and connecting over music too?
Oh yeah, totally. It's funny because when you're on the show, it's like, it kind of becomes your reality, you know? So it's like every conversation you have is like about The Voice, you know? So,
and Gwen.
And Gwen. It's just like, what do you think Gwen's doing right now? Like, do you think she's thinking about us?
Yeah.
No, so like
No,
off the
she's
show.
not.
Yeah. But it's funny though, every now and then, you know, like on Instagram, those stories, you'll see like, I'll be looking at, you know how you can see who's like viewed your story?
Yeah.
And like, I'll post some stupid story. Like if you follow me, I post like the dumbest stuff. And it's always like the worst thing I post, and I look, and it's like, who's viewed it? It's like Gwen Stefani. And I'm like, oh my god. It's always when I post like the worst thing.
You're like, here, my shoe ripped.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
flip-flop blew out.
Like
Oh,
the most
dang it.
embarrassing, like the dumbest story. And then it's like, that's the one that she watches. And I'm just like, oh, she probably thinks I'm like a loser. No, but what's up, Gwen? But anyway, yeah, so it's cool after The Voice because I've been able to talk to Troy about like what kind of songs he writes, and like we're both in the middle of making like EPs and albums right now. So it's like it's been cool to be like, all right, what kind of artist do you want to be? What kind of shows are you playing after this? And just to like learn about each other away from the show, like as artists. I talked about playing shows with Lily. So she lives in LA too, and so like there are a few of us that live in LA, and so she's in the middle of like making an album, and so like we kind of get together and talk about like, all right, what vibe are you going for? Like we should co-write together. So
cool.
It's cool, you know. It's I know it's a competition, but I feel like I've said this a lot. It really kind of turns into a family, and it was cool like going back. I went to a few of the shows after I was eliminated, and I went back just to kind of go cheer on my friends and. Total different environment. It's crazy like being in the crowd and like you instantly become like a fangirl of like your friends, you know? So that was really cool too. So I know it's a competition, but I don't know, it's really more of like a family experience. It's cool.
Oh, this was so fun to watch too, because you really do see it. It's always kind of entertaining to see people in the audience freaking out over people, and you're like, you didn't know them 2 weeks ago, and now you're total fans. So it's kind of nice. It's a good fun show to watch. I want to talk to you about your new music. So you've really set out, and you've talked about it just a bit. We've hinted on it about EP. So you've put out some new music, and you really went to work, just kind of focusing on, after you got off the show, you're like, this is something that I'm dedicated to. I want to do, putting out original content. Talk to me about some inspiration that went behind this, and talk to us just a little bit about the music itself.
Yeah, so before the show, like I did a lot of co-writing. I was living in Nashville for a long time. And what goes on down there is a lot of like, we'll meet up and like write a song together. And then I feel like I did a lot of that for years. And then going on to the show, you're not really allowed to do original songs until like the very end, if you're like one of the finalists. So then as soon as the show ended for me, I was like, listen, I have this stuff in my head that I want to get out. So I just really went to work on writing a bunch of music just by myself in my apartment, in my studio apartment. Sorry to my neighbors. It got a little loud in there. And then I was like, you know what? Before I even take this to a producer and start to talk about that process, I want to record it myself and get some demos out there just myself. So it's been a weird... It's been like, so I've been going on some castings and stuff. So I did that before The Voice started too. It's like I had only really gone on like 6 castings before The Voice started for like commercial acting stuff. I live in LA, you know, so it's like...
Why not?
But so my schedule has kind of been like, I lug all my stuff down to my car, and I'll head out to some casting, and I'm probably late, and I'll run in for the casting, probably not get the job, and then run back to my car, go to the studio that we work out of, Cascade in Hollywood, lug all my stuff in, and record for like 4 hours, and just literally like spend the entire time there like recording guitars, trying to record some drums, like whether it's real drums or like on the keyboard, like whatever, and then go to like another casting after that, probably not get that one, and then go back to my apartment and finish out. So it's been a cool process of putting this EP together because I feel like it feels very LA, and I think it's LA has kind of been like the next chapter of my journey, and I feel like the songs that are coming out of it have been very LA. So
super LA. Wasn't one of them? I don't have my notes here. Was it one of them called something like LA Life?
One of them's called LA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if one of them's called LA.
Yeah.
Oh, what are some of them? Because you're gonna play some of them for us.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play. I was gonna play a different one, but maybe I'll play. I could. So I basically have like 4 new songs that are gonna be on this EP that I'm in the process of releasing. One of the songs is gonna be coming out, I think it's next Friday or the Friday after that. And yeah, so they're definitely more. I mean, I'm definitely more of like an alternative rock kind of guy. I love Ryan Adams, and we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such like I finally saw Ryan Adams at the Greek Theater like 2 weeks ago, and it was like the best show I've ever seen in my life. But I love bands like Kings of Leon and stuff like that. So it's got like a alternative rock, but it's still like a singer-songwriter thing because it's me for the first time as a solo artist. You know?
How's that feel? That has to feel pretty good, but also, do you feel kind of exposed almost?
A little bit, yeah, because especially when you start to write the songs by yourself, and then you're like recording them by yourself, and then you're on stage by yourself, like it's just a lot of me, and I'm like, and you almost you're like, all right, this is good, right? Because it's like sometimes it's important to have people there being like, yo, this is great, or this is not great.
Or
yeah, you know, and I think that's super important,
yeah.
And so sometimes I start to worry. I'm like, man, I hope this is good because like no one's telling me to not do this. Which in the past, like I've kind of had like a choir of people being like, do this or do this and do this. But I feel like I needed to kind of silence that choir for the moment. And yeah, it's been cool. These residency shows in LA were really the first time that I was putting myself out there as like a true, solo artist. And it's cool because the shows are just different. Like when you're playing with your band, when we play, we're all on the click together. So like our drummer has a click track in his headphones. So it's like, we know the tempo of the song, like you kind of have to stay on that tempo of the song. But when you're up there by yourself, like you can kind of do whatever you want. You can slow it down and you can change it. It's really whatever you want. So that's been kind of fun. Like I've been enjoying it. So if you guys come to the show on Saturday night at the Met, 8 o'clock, it's gonna be like a mix of both because like these are bigger rooms. So like I want to make sure the band is there and it's like we can do some like louder like full band stuff. But I want to show you guys like, a taste of the solo stuff too. So it's gonna be a good mix, and I'm gonna play a song that I did on the Voice too. So I've been kind of messing with that. So it's been fun.
Messing around with it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you play a song or two for us.
Cool.
And then maybe we'll chat a little bit more about some other stuff. So I'm going to have you grab the guitar. Tony, you're going to yell at him where to stand. I'm going to get out of the way.
All right.
And Johnny Gates is going to rock for us. We're going to have some fun. Is he good right there, Tony, you think? Yep. All right.
I'll do the LA one.
All right.
Why not?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm a solo artist now. I can do whatever I want.
Cool.
The perks. Oh, you could be a model where boys get startled. Oh, where I wanna follow you, can't help it. Oh, I find a spot, play this old guitar, become a big star. No, I can't help it. That's the way you make me feel, way you make me feel. Let's move out to LA. To hell with all them dark days. As long as you're there with me, you will get famous some way. Let's move to LA, 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 LA. Oh, well, that's the paparazzi. Yeah, 'cause you're so damn flashy. And everything you do, it knocks me. You can't help it. Oh, point to the hills. We'll find a couple meals. Yeah, just for the thrill. No, I can't help it. It's the way you make me feel, way you make me feel. Let's move out to LA. To hell with all them dark days. As long as you're there with me, you will get famous some way. Let's move to LA, 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 LA. Yeah. I mean, it can get a little long sometimes, but yeah.
No, I just like that.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was
Thanks. You know, thank you.
good. Okay, so you wrote that out there, just in your apartment.
Yeah, I literally wrote this one.
I love it.
In my, what's funny is that I'll try to like when I'm trying to come up with like a song idea, I'll lay it down on my phone like as a voice memo, and it's funny. So I just kind of kept my phone running one day, so you could hear me like playing this like horrible like song idea, and then all of a sudden like you hear like the LA song like just come out of nowhere, and it's cool because I have it on my voice memo. So
That's amazing.
it's funny to like kind of listen to it. Yeah. So.
Is that how most of your the EP album has come together? Most of
Yeah. It's like. It will either be like me kind of sitting in so I've got a bunch of cool like recording equipment in my apartment. So it's like I'll have a couple beers or something and just kind of take the guitar out and just kind of mess around. Or I'll take my amp and my electric guitar and go down to the rehearsal studio and just kind of like get loud and just kind of find some cool melodies and stuff. So yeah, I mean I try to make it as natural as possible, and it's been fun because it's kind of been like whatever I want to do right now, and I'm definitely talking to some like labels and stuff like that. But I've done that. Like we did the major label thing forever, so it's kind of cool at the moment to be trying to figure out like what I want to do first, and so then I could be like, this is who I am, as opposed to what am I? Because I feel like that's the kiss of death in the music industry is when you start to ask people like, who am I? That's when you know it's just like you're not working on what you're supposed to be working on. So
Organic.
Yeah, it needs to be organic. It needs to be real. We live in a time where there's just so much music out there. So like people can be picky with what they love because like they're exposed to so much music. So it needs to be real. It needs to be good. And you don't just have to listen to what's on the radio anymore. You know, you can like find music and that's what's cool about a city like Providence. I mean, there are like great bands here. I'm so thankful we came up in the scene. We used to play the Living Room, if you remember the Living Room, all the time. Lupo's when it used to be like over here, now it's at the Strand, whatever. Yeah, it's like Providence is a great music city. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Want to do another one for us?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I'll do I've got the song Wish I Knew You. I'll do that one. It's another new one.
Cool.
I don't think I've ever really played these songs like live, like on a camera.
Oh,
yeah.
A debut?
So it's kind of a debut with these songs, yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. I wish I know you like he knows you. Wish I know you like he knows you. Don't you like to drink? How you like to kiss? What you like to do on a night like this? Who you think is cool? All your favorite room. What you like to do when you be up from it? I just want a little taste. I just want a little taste. I wish I know you like he knows you. Wish I know you like he knows you. Where you running from and who you running to, and are you really leaving here with that dude? Every nightmare, every single dream, you ever see yourself with a guy like me? 'Cause I just want a little taste. I just want a little taste. I wish I know you like he knows you. Wish I know you like he knows you. Wish I know you like he knows you. Wish I know you like he knows you.
This is so exciting. I'm pumped for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean that's like the new stuff. So we'll see. I usually play it like on electric with like a bunch of reverb. So yeah, it's been fun. So I'm glad you're into it. So
Is it cool to be bringing this stuff like back home, back to the East Coast, and
totally, yeah. Because I mean, like the last time you guys heard me on a stage, I was singing Selena Gomez.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, like,
which was also really good. And every time
Thanks.
I hear that song on the radio, I'm like, yeah, Johnny.
Rad. Yeah, I mean that was like I said, I picked that song. Like I had that song on my list because I knew that I wanted to take it and like mess with it.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I bump into people and they're like, "Man, you should have sang like this or that," and it's just like, I feel like if I was singing a bunch of Aerosmith songs, it would have kind of sounded like a little karaoke.
Yeah,
of me,
totally.
You know. So yeah. So anyway, but it's funny because I've been playing the Selena Gomez song in my set on just a guitar, and it sounds pretty cool. So. I like that song, Hands to Myself. It's a cool song.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You sound fun. You seem like you're having a good time. So you're playing at the Met June 24th. People, I think, are really excited to see you. Happy to have you back home. So coming up, what do you think's next for you? So you're going to finish this East Coast tour. Then when can we see you again? What's coming up?
So definitely, as soon as this tour ends, going back to LA, probably like around the 4th of July, and then I guess following up with these like label and meeting things.
Cool.
I've got this EP that it's like, I mean, I recorded it myself right now, so I'm talking. We've got some producer conversations happening too, which is pretty exciting because some of these guys have worked with like some of my favorite artists, which is awesome. But definitely I want to release music, you know, and yeah, so that's why that last song I just played, I think that's gonna be the one that comes out in like a couple weeks.
Wish I Knew You, right?
Wish I Knew You, yeah, and. So be on the lookout for, I definitely, before anything happens, I want to get music out there to you guys because you guys supported me on the show, and I think it's important to show you guys like what I do, you know? So first things first, it's get music to you guys, and then try to stay on the road as much as possible too. Like, do the business stuff because, you know, it's I need to eat. I need to eat, you know?
Pay the rent.
Yeah, I got to pay the rent in the apartment that I'm trying to write the songs in, But, you know, it's like, I feel like I love being on the road. So the business stuff is important, but the music stuff, I feel like for me comes first. So it's like, just write music, record music, and go play that music out.
Love it.
That's my favorite. That's my cycle. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we're finishing things up here in the Navient Credit Union Broadcast Center. Johnny Gates, thank you so much.
I really appreciate you guys having me.
This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I know we were Skyping before,
I know.
so
You were the talking
I was right
head.
there. I know, like in some like hotel room. So with like usually I had like all my friends. Like my roommate was Mark, and like he was always trying to like
make faces.
Yeah, he was literally trying to like pop. Like I think at one time he like walked across the room with like a towel over his head. I don't know if
He
you guys
sounded
could
great.
see it.
I hope he's doing all right.
Yeah, Mark's like the next like Justin Bieber. So
He seriously is.
Yeah, he's gonna be good.
He seriously is.
So.
His last performance with Despacito, right?
Dude, that was like he killed it. Yeah, and we were all there for that. We were like flipping out.
Out
like,
there with Daddy Yankee.
We were like,
Just
I know, right? CNN actually had like they had a Justin Bieber article, and they used a picture from that performance of Mark, and I think that they thought that he was Justin Bieber. So we all hit up Mark and we're like, yo, dude, CNN's like,
By the way.
breaking news, it's you.
By the way.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for having me. Like, this is awesome. I love you guys.
Cool. Thank
Right
you.
on.
Oh, Johnny Gates. We
All
love
right.
you. We love
Later.